One of the greatest blessings of being incarnated in this reality is that we get to be in a cosmic dialogue with the universe. We get to hear its messages, its whispers on the wind, and we get to follow them. Magical signs and synchronicities that guide you on your way. And in this video, I want to share with you 5 beautiful signs that the universe is actually talking to you. And I'm going to talk about how you can really listen and make contact consciously with the guidance that is available for you. When I started to really be able to hear messages from the universe, it shifted my reality, and I started to be able to move through life not just based on decisions from my mind, but on decisions and intuitions that come to me in my heart center and that I then get to act from in alignment with my own soul and the soul of the universe. The first sign that the universe is trying to tell you something comes from your body. When you feel good, when you feel safe, when you feel satisfied and engaged, the universe is showing you that you're aligned with your purpose, that you are in a space that is resonant with the frequency that wants you to be happy, that wants you to be well, that wants you to be in a state of coherence and perfection. So don't underestimate your felt sense. Is this something that is making me feel good or is going to make me feel good? And allow the universe to show you the way from the body and from the feelings that you are noticing arising. Don't rely on external sources to tell you how you feel, to diagnose your symptoms. Listen to yourself, tune in. This is embodied knowledge, embodied wisdom. And you and the universe, in tandem, in a co-creative state, are finding signals and cues that tell you whether you're on the right track. When I was working in my previous career in academia, I didn't feel good. I felt so misaligned. I felt burned out. I was stressed. I picked up a lot of toxicity from my environment and I couldn't clear it. When I discovered energy medicine, when I became a healer, I just felt so good. I felt in alignment. I felt like I was in the flow. I felt like it was something that I had done many times before in past lives, because it was so easy, it was so natural, it was so instinctive that I was almost confused, because I thought that being good at something had to be really difficult. No, being good at something feels good. You feel a simplicity and a flow and an ease. So let the feelings guide you towards what the universe really, really wants for your highest good and for the highest good of all. The second beautiful sign that the universe is trying to talk to you is when you find moments of connection to nature. Nature is here to support us. It fundamentally wants you to be happy and to be well, and it wants you to understand that you are a divine spark that has individuated from universal consciousness, from the source of the source. And when you go out into nature and you have a moment where an animal stops nearby to you, or maybe you notice a beautiful pattern of swallows flying in the sky, or maybe you hear a message when you quiet your mind and listen out for what the wind wants you to know. These are moments when you are connecting with divine source energy. Animals are very, very sensitive to energy, and their natural instinct is not really to be around humans. So anytime they step forward, you are being sent a sign. You're being reminded of your divinity. You're being reminded of your true nature. This is very powerful. I remember one time I was swimming in the sea in the Caribbean, and I had dived quite deep down, and this beautiful turtle swam towards me and it let me touch its back. And that moment of contact, it was fleeting, but it was so beautiful. And I knew in that moment I was deeply connected, not only to this creature, but to my divinity and to the whole of the ocean and to the whole of the infinite consciousness of this universe. When those moments start to happen, cherish them so dearly. Remind yourself of them when you're feeling disconnected, because they are such a clear guide that you are on the right path. The third beautiful sign is more specifically about little signals that the universe sends to you when it wants you to know that you are very, very connected and you're vibrating on a similar frequency. So you might experience this in the form of numbers, seeing repeating numbers, waking up at the same time every night, or just noticing the clock at 11:11 or 10:10 or 10:11 or whatever it is. These are little reminders, little breadcrumbs throughout your day to let you know that the way that you are vibrating is being heard and also matched. I remember when I started to awaken a few years ago, one of the things that I tuned into a lot was feathers, and feathers were kind of like the medium that the universe let me know of its presence through. So I would see them around me a lot. I remember one time I ordered a book that I knew was going to be quite meaningful for me in my journey, and my partner brought the book in and put it on the staircase in my house, and when I went to pick it up, it literally had a feather just sitting on top of it that must have floated in when he brought it or something, but I knew it was a sign I was supposed to read that book and it was going to be really significant for me. And another time I was away on a retreat and we were meditating in this beautiful yoga shala, and I had very specifically asked to have angelic guidance. I wanted to make contact with the divine in that way. And when I opened my eyes from the meditation, a feather had materialized on the yoga mat in front of me. There were no birds around much to speak of, and it had just appeared, and I was so grateful for that message. And I always remember that moment because I felt such a clear sign from the universe that I was supported and heard and seen. This can also happen in the sense of lots of different people saying the same thing to you. Maybe like 3 or 4 people have recommended the same book, or they are saying, oh, you'd be an amazing teacher or something. When you get multiple similar messages from different sources, you really have to pay attention, because the universe is really trying to get you to see something, and it's channeling that message through lots of different people so that you can't really miss it. If when you hear a similar message from lots of different people, you feel a lot of resistance to it, it probably means it's even more important that you listen to the message and figure out from the heart why it is that you are resisting it. Because when you feel resistant like that, it's a signal that you're on the verge of quite a big breakthrough. So you don't want to really just stop because it feels a bit uncomfortable. You want to go through it. You're probably on a growth edge, and you're probably due for some wonderful, exciting expansion. The fourth thing is when you start to connect much more easily with aligned souls. When I shifted from my previous career to this one, I started meeting so many beautiful and wonderful people, and it was easy, and I felt way more comfortable with them than I ever had felt in any of my previous experiences. Not that the people that I worked with and love and live with for the previous part of my life weren't amazing, they were. However, when I stepped into my true purpose, people started coming to me and we would connect on a soul level. One of my really dear friends right now, we met just in a session where we were drumming and singing. We didn't even speak, but we knew on a very deep soul level that we were kindred spirits, and we've been hanging out and developing and talking with each other ever since that moment. So when your connections start to feel more fluid, this is a sign that you're in frequency match with your purpose and the experiences that are right for you and the people who are going to help you to evolve. Now, the fifth beautiful sign, and don't get me wrong, this is a difficult one, but it is still beautiful, is crisis. Sometimes we do get a big fat nudge from the universe in the form of an illness, a relationship breakdown, the loss of a job, some other kind of loss. And even though this can feel so hard in the moment, it usually is a cue for you to deepen your connection with yourself, with source, with spirit. Now, when I had my lowest point in the last few years, it was a long-term illness. I had this eye condition. I couldn't get rid of it. It made me extremely uncomfortable, and I was told by the doctors that it was not something that there's a cure for. It was something that I was going to have to live with for the rest of my life, and that was quite a devastating diagnosis because I was in such discomfort, and I started projecting myself into the future, like, when I'm 90 years old, am I really going to feel this uncomfortable? Will I have had to deal with that every day? But what I realized eventually was that that crisis of health, that horrible feeling of fear, was the very thing that kind of forced me, after years and years of pushing myself too hard and burning out, to sit quietly and learn how to face the discomfort without filling every moment of my time trying to brace myself against reality. So I'm incredibly grateful for it, even though it meant that for a good few years I wasn't myself. I wasn't able to step out into the world in the way that I can now. But I'm grateful because that chapter was pivotal in my life, and I know it was the universe nudging me, if not whacking me over the head with a baseball bat. So if that's happening to you, I want you to know that I am sending you a lot of love and strength and courage right now, and it might be difficult to recognize the positivity in it right in this moment, but please just know that good is coming out of the other side of this eventually, and spirit is not abandoning you. It is nudging you into evolution and growth. Okay, so those were 5 beautiful signs. Now, how can you start to be more open to receiving those signs? As with almost everything in this spiritual journey, having some space and having some silence is so important. You can't really receive these signals into a busy mind. Ideally, you want to receive them into your heart. So if you can spend a few minutes every day, you can just simply place your hand on your heart, take some nice deep breaths, and allow yourself to tune in with the natural rhythm of your body. And know that when you receive these signals, that's where they're going to come into. In the mornings, you can also say an affirmation, again with your hand on your heart. I am open to receiving all that the universe wants to communicate with me. And that way you're setting an intention at the beginning of every day so that you can be receptive and open. You can be like a sponge for these amazing, beautiful messages that are coming into you. It can also be really helpful in the evenings to have another mantra or affirmation, but this time it's going to be a bit more focused on gratitude for what you have received. So you can say, I am grateful for all the messages I am receiving. I see, feel, and know they are becoming more and more clear every day. You can also ask for a clear sign that you are making conscious contact with the universe. Ask Source, the divine, universal consciousness, to send me a signal. Let me know that I made contact, and show me something that is miraculous and awe-inspiring that I'm going to know for certain came from source. If you do want guidance on a specific topic, insight on a particular conundrum you're facing, then just ask the universe specifically for guidance on that. But once you've asked, just let it go, because you don't want to be making too much effort with this kind of process and this kind of relationship. You just really want to let it flood into the heart center, nice, simple and easy. And remember, every time that you pick up one of these signals that I've talked about today, write it down, because it's going to give you more and more evidence that this process is working, that you're honing your skills, and that you're more and more in tune every single day. So I hope that's helped you. Thank you so much for being here. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And if you would like to learn more about one of the key blocks to manifestation, then check out this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Much love.